Chapter 9 actually is going to have a ton to do with next year in your math class. I'm guessing a lot of you are going to take financial algebra, and you are definitely going to be talking about annuities, okay? So they're going to give you the formula, okay? All you have to do is plug it in. So it says Dominic deposits $770 every year into an account, earning an annual interest rate of 8.1% compounded annually. How much would he have in the account after 2 years to the nearest dollar? And then it says use the following formula. So it says A is the future value of the account after n periods. Okay, well, what we're doing here, we're finding A, okay? So D is the amount invested at the end of each period, okay? So D is 770, okay? That's how much he deposits each year. I is the interest rate, okay? So 8.1% is the rate, but I can't write that as a percent. I have to write it as a decimal, so it's 0.081. And then N is the number of periods, okay? Well, it's compounded annually, okay? So annually means once a year, okay? So in 2 years, okay, it would compound twice because it's only once a year. So N is 2. So it's the number of periods, okay. So A equals D is 770 times, so then big parentheses, 1 plus I is 0.081 to the n power, n is 2, minus 1, all over whatever I is. Well, I is 0.081. So now we got to to plug this into the graphing calculator, to plug it into the yellow calculator, we're going to do 770 parentheses, and then we're going to make a fraction. So we're going to hit Control Divide, so that gives us a fraction, okay? So on top, we're going to do parentheses 1 plus 0.081 parentheses to the second power, and then we're going to do minus 1. And then we're going to tab down to the bottom, and then we're going to put in 0.081. And we're going to hit enter. Okay, so we get $1,602.37. Well, it says to the nearest dollar, so that's whole number. So this is the only number I care about. So 3 doesn't do anything for me. So my final answer is $1,602. That is how much he will have in the account after 2 years. Okay? Now, Claire deposits $1,600 every quarter. Okay? So that's a little different. Every quarter. All right? So, how does that change things? Well, we'll see. Earning an annual interest rate of 4.6% compounded quarterly. How much would she have in the account after 7 years to the nearest dollar? Okay. Now, Okay, so we're finding A again. That's no big deal. D, okay, so she deposits $1,600 at the end of each quarter. So D is $1,600. Okay. Now, the rate. To get the rate. Oh, if you can hear that, that's my washer singing to me. How about that? It's a pretty sweet noise. Okay. Now, it's interesting. Yeah, you could tell I'm doing this at home. Okay. So, what we need to do is we need to convert the annual rate, because the annual interest rate is 4.6%. So what I have to do is I have to convert that to a quarterly rate. So what I do is I take 4.6%, so that's 0.046, and I divide by 4 because there's 4 quarters in a year. So 0.046 divided by 4 is 0.0115. So that's R. R is the quarterly rate, not the annual rate. Okay? And then, why did I put R? Pay attention. I. Okay? Now, N is the number of periods. Okay? But here's the thing. It says, all right, how much would she have in the account after 7 years? Well, how many quarters are in 7 years? Well, 7 times 4 is 28. So that's N. So, A equals 1,600, parentheses, then another parentheses on top of my fraction. So 1 plus 0.0115. Now to the n power, that's 28. And then minus 1, and parentheses. And then on the bottom would be 0.0115, which would be I. So we put that in the calculator. Let's see here. So 1,600, parentheses, control, divide, that makes my fraction, okay, parentheses, 1 plus 0.0115, parentheses. Now you're going to have to hit the little, next to x squared, there's a little up arrow, little caret kind of. You're going to have to hit that, and then it's to the 28th power. Then right arrow to get out of the exponent, and then put minus 1. Then tab to the bottom, 0.0115. Enter. So I get $52,501. Now it says to the nearest dollar. So the only number that matters is just the first decimal place. So this 1 does nothing to that. So how much will she have in the account after 7 years? She will have $52,501. Okay? So that's a problem where you have to do quarterly. Now the last one says Owen deposits $540 every month into an account earning a monthly interest rate of 0.375%. How much would he have in his account after 19 months to the nearest dollar? Now, we're not going to have to do anything extra here like we did in the last problem because we're depositing every month. We have a monthly interest rate, and they're asking how much would he have after 19 months. So all the unit of times are the same. So, again, we're finding A. In this section, you're always going to find A. So D, the amount he deposits, $540. Okay? Now, I, the interest rate. Now, it's already 0.375%, okay? But I got to move the decimal 2 to the left. So now it's going to be 0.00375. And again, I don't have to do anything to that number because everything is in months. In the last problem, it compounded every quarter, but it had an annual interest rate, so the times were different. Okay, that's why we had to adjust. And then N is 19 months. So A equals 540 times 1 plus 0.00375 to the 19th power, excuse me. I was thinking about the last problem. To the 19th power, and then the minus 1 comes after that, all over 0.00375. Okay, let's plug it in. So 540, parentheses, control, divide, parentheses, 1 plus 0.0037, 375, parentheses, to the 19th power, right arrow to get out of the parenthesis, or get out of the exponent, and then minus 1, tab to the bottom, 0.00375, enter. So I get $10,613. It says nearest dollar again, so a whole number. So 0.7, that's all I care about. This 7 bumps 3 up to 4. So my final answer, how much money will he have after 19 months? $10,613, or $14, excuse me. Round up. Here you go. Okay. So the only problem where you got to really do any adjustments is in the quarterly problem. Everything else is you can just take the numbers as they are.